Greetings, and joining us on behalf of our wonderful performing arts students at Thornwood High School, William W. Carter School of Excellence, and Martin Luther King Prep High School here in the heart of the south side of Chicago. We have a special guest. She is on the Mount Rushmore all-time greats, generation in the world of the performing arts, the great singer, songwriter, producer, dance choreographer in the proud history of Duval County, Florida. And she's also beauty and brilliance as well. The greatest biochem student and proud 130-year legacy of University of North Carolina, Greensboro. Go Lady Spartans. Let's give a huge South Side of Chicago welcome to trailblazing R&B superstar humanitarian in the real life version of Wonder Woman, MK-XYZ.
Wow, that's amazing. I love that intro. Thank you for having me. And hello to you all.
No, thank you so very much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know, especially over the last couple of months, everyone's been bumping your single with G-Eazy. It's just crazy out here in Chicago. So I know your schedule is beyond hectic over the last couple of months, especially.
No, it's been crazy, but it's been a blessing, honestly. Just all the opportunities that have been coming my way. Just being all of us being down in quarantine and just all the adversity that we've been facing as a whole. But yeah, it's been crazy, man. It's been a blessing.
So the first question before I go into the Q&A, how often are you in Chicago? You have such a broad, huge fan base, especially with the kids, the high school students, college students. They love you, MK. So how often have you been in Chicago? And do you have any plans on coming to Chicago to perform at one of our phenomenal music venues anytime soon, especially with us cautiously optimistic as far as turning the corner on the COVID-19 pandemic and things are starting to open up again?
Yeah, so the craziest part is yesterday I was while I was on set, I was telling my manager, I said, man, I just want to go to Chicago because we were talking about, the interview and everything. And I was like, I love Chicago. I've only been to Chicago one time, and that was to perform. This was, I know, right? I know. But when I went, I was like, oh my gosh, I love it. Like, I love it. Like, I want to come back. I actually want to be able to see, all the sites and actually go around because my entire team is from Chicago native. And a lot of the amazing people that I work with, they're also that I've gotten the chance to work with, Hitmaker, they're all from Chicago. So I performed, it was, I wonder if it was maybe 2 years ago. It seems like it was a lot. It was right before COVID, but it wasn't like right when it hit, at a place called Tao.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And that was my first and only time I got to see Chicago. It was in and out because I had just hit New York and then came straight to Chicago a couple days later to do the show. But I fell in love with it. But I really want to come back. I would love to come back.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, after the call, I'll circle back with your phenomenal team. I'll send you information on our upcoming venues. But Chicago would love to have you. So and my students are volunteering to be your tour guide for whenever you come. Hopefully the summer or whenever time permits. So we got to have you locked seriously.
Oh man, that would be amazing.
Oh man. First question is, obviously the month of June is LGBT Pride, National Pride Month. How important is National Pride Month for you personally?
So I feel like pride, first of all, is something that, if um, any of the students identify queer or on the spectrum somewhere, I think that first and foremost, I live it every day. I came out when I was in high school. I was 14, and it's been a long journey since of just always having this self-discovery moment. Like throughout my adulthood now, it's just been like an ever-changing thing, where I'm just finding out new things about myself and learning how to navigate life as I experience it. So pride for me has been every day. It's, I wake up, I live it. It's like Black History Month, the same thing. And now they have AAPI.
Absolutely.
So for me, it's all about unity. It's all about unapologetically being yourself, and what that looks like to you, not what somebody else says that you are. And that has a lot to do with the XYZ that's a part of me, and everybody else. Just, you know, being yourself and having there be a sense of unity and a togetherness, and it's also a celebration. It's a big celebration for everybody to really just come together, spread awareness, peace, love, and of course, like just, honoring those who have paved the way for us in the queer communities too.
Absolutely. What, before going to the Q&A, what question, and this is actually a question for one of our students that's kind of struggling a little bit right now, as unveiling her identity to her parents and her immediate family. What advice do you have for a high school student that where coming out and unveiling their true identity, their from a comfort standpoint, um, just with the values and beliefs of their parents and within their household. What advice do you have for that high school student that's currently struggling right now to share to share with their parents? Um, you know, it's
Where they are.
yes, absolutely.
I'd say, oh man, like I never forget the journey. I never forget the journey when it first started. Like I said, when I was 14, and especially growing up in the South, born and raised, and just that being the Bible Belt, and people having a little bit more, I wouldn't say everybody, but most people that I've experienced are a little bit more closed-minded to it, especially when you are a person of color. I'm not sure if they are, and a woman and queer. I say that, you have to understand where you are in relation to everybody else, first and foremost. Always understand that you are figuring yourself out and you have to give yourself time. You have to know that things are always going to change also with life. Like you're paving your own way, and you have to give your family that kind of grace as well. I think that one of the biggest things that I've realized in the last couple of years, also stepping into my music journey fully, is that I had to give my parents, my entire family, time to also understand what I'm also understanding. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
It's taken this long to kind of like figure out, like, do I, like, getting to the point where I'm like, I don't want to define this because I don't want to be put in a box and I don't want to be labeled. I am who I am. I'm not who everybody else says I am, and that's a whole journey in itself. But then outside of that, everybody else has to be, everybody else is figuring out, like, okay, like I'm also being welcomed into this space, into this new chapter of your life of acceptance in their own way. And that could be very difficult. Like, I feel like, man, you know how many times I've spent, like, there's the points where I've been depressed. There's been the times where I've been like, okay, like, where am I? Like, you kind of start to feel like you might feel like, okay, like, is there any room for me in this universe? Because I just feel so different from everybody else. Not like because you could feel different from the people who are queer, the people who are BIPOC. You could feel all those different things, but you're really trying to figure out, you know, you want to make sure that you're making the decisions for you, that there isn't no external influence, external validation that you feel like you need. Everything that you're feeling will come from you and it'll feel right. And you have to trust the timing. You have to trust the journey. You have to trust the path. And you have to
Hello, hello, hello.
I don't my phone overheated. It was so hot. So I had to
Oh
literally,
no.
I'm so sorry about that. But we were in the middle of it and I was giving my 2 cents. But is this okay? So I'm okay. So but yeah, I just want to add to that because I feel like, you know, through the journey um you have to understand where everybody is first and foremost. And because I think that was the hardest thing. Like I feel like in the beginning it was a lot of like why can't you just accept this and why can't you just understand this, and I'd start to get frustrated because I felt like in the beginning I would take it slow and give them time, but you know then you start to realize like okay that must not be not enough time because you know I have conversations with my parents and they're like well you know of course you know they accept me and they love me for who I am, but at the same time it was like my mom would have conversations like you know when you because they're old school and they're like when you have a child, you know, you have these whole hopes and dreams of how their life is going to be and da 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 da. And then, you know, when you get older and you start making your own adult decisions, things change. And when you decide to, you know, when it came to little things like dressing a certain way and like, you know, how I want to wear my hair or like little things like piercings and tattoos, which has completely nothing to do with it, but still like all those different parts of growing up and you just make these decisions and they're like, my mom would be like, you know, sometimes it could be overwhelming, but I had to give her time. So I think that ultimately being patient with the journey, trusting it, you know, and not giving up on who you know you are and believing in yourself 1,000,000% of the way from beginning to end, 100%.
Because I feel like it takes all the courage in the world, especially if you're in high school, to to have that confidence and that comfort level to come to your parents to share such an intimate piece of your life. Um,
Oh, yeah.
and yeah, that's a struggle that so many high school students, so many students in general, are going through right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, oh my gosh. Like, there's so many moments where I'm like, okay, I'm just, forget it. Like, I don't even want to talk about, like, there's just so many frustrating moments that I just didn't know if I would like push through it. And, if I didn't get through all of that, I wouldn't be MK-XYZ as people know it today. I wouldn't be that person. And now I understand that I had to go through all of that to be able to be the person, to be that person. Like it's just a lot that comes with it. But you know, now that I look back, I'm like, man, okay, I see why all these things happen, and it makes sense.
Yeah. Christina's question is, what is it like to be recognized as a trailblazer and role model to so many young ladies all over the world?
Would I like to? Of course. I mean, I feel like with the magnitude that I see my entire journey and success, I think at the end of the day, of course, I would love that. Just
No, no, no,
because
no,
I
no.
feel like,
She has, what is it like to be recognized as a trailblazer?
oh, oh,
Because all the
oh,
students here in Chicago, they consider you a trailblazer and role model.
oh, yo, shout out to all of you guys, because
You gotta
that,
come to
like, I feel
Chicago
so
and
honored.
hurry up and come to Chicago.
I'm coming. I'm coming. Wow, like, I just say, first and foremost, wow, Christina, thank you. Oh, my voice. But I'd say that that's just like, I didn't like, sometimes you like look back on that journey and you're like, you just don't know who you're going to affect. You don't know who you're going to impact. You don't know who's going to see you and feel like, like, I didn't think that I could experience this, and I see you living it, and now I feel like I can do the same thing, and then it's just that kind of relatability. It's that impact, and I live for that. At the end of the day, I feel like when I see the journey, and how far it's come, it almost makes me emotional, because I didn't think that it would be this soon, and I'm young, and now it's like I'm just giving that back to everybody who feels like maybe they can't achieve the same things, or they can't go for the same things, and you can't. It's like, you have no idea. Like, sometimes I felt like everything from music to going to college, I felt like all those things were intangible at some point in time. I didn't even think that was a real thing until I could like afford to pay, like, pass the acceptance of school, like, take that for example, or even just getting signed. Like, I didn't think those things were real until I see it in writing, until I'm like, okay, like, I'm out here, and I'm, it's just, all of it has been just I take it one step at a time. I've said, it's manifestation. Like, I've manifested all of these things, even in my darkest hour. And like, now moving forward, for people to look up to me the way they do, it's just, it's really it's honorable, like, the way that I feel. And I'm thankful. And like, all of you guys who are watching this, all of you guys who have questions and who listen to my music, or are aware of who I am, like, you guys are amazing. I could not do this without you guys. And it goes to y'all. I will be in Chicago though. I'm coming. I'm
Okay.
coming.
See. That's gonna be your homework assignment.
Yes.
But and you must be reading Christina's mind, because it was a two-part question. The second part of her question was, what was the inspiration behind the hits "One Time," Dennis Rodman, who we all know and love in Chicago, and "Pass It"?
Yeah. So for all of the three records, excluding Dennis Rodman, I did that one at Atlanta. The other two records, One Time and Pass It, was done in Vegas, with Hitmaker, Chicago. Of course, like, it's the energy. Y'all are the reason why I'm thriving and succeeding, because it's the Chicago energy. It's something about Chicago. Everybody is just driven and hungry and creative on a whole different level. Like, y'all on a whole different playing field. But yeah, I did those records in Vegas. It was my birthday. It was my 21st birthday that I got to create all those records at one time. And a lot of it was just me, and my EP right now, Sweet Spot, that's out. All the records collectively are about me, showing myself in all those different perspectives and all those different experiences in one. Like, I wanted, when I released Pass It, I wanted people to get like a quick introduction, like, okay, like, how does she feel? Like, oh, I'm also on the West Coast, so it's kind of giving you all the mixture of that energy. But then when I released Sweet Spot, I was like, okay, like, I want people to see it in a multifaceted lens. Like, okay, like, when you think of MK-XYZ and you think of not being labeled and saying what you want to and being who you are unapologetically, and all the visuals sonically, what are you getting? You're getting all of that, and it hits you right in the sweet spot. And that's where it came from. And I was like, you know what? When you get the queerness and the unapologeticness, when you get all these different things, what are you hearing? What are you seeing? That's the XYZ sweet spot is hitting you right there. So all the inspiration, it's just really me being myself, but also introducing myself to the world, like making that first, like, yeah, this is who I am. You know what I mean? When you hear it, this is who I am, and you're kind of getting a glimpse if you don't know,
Yeah. How much fun was it to how much fun was music collaboration with G-Eazy?
Say one more time. I didn't hear the very end of the question.
How much fun was your music collab with G-Eazy?
Oh man, like growing up in the South, like the West Coast is just a whole different vibe. Like it's just groovy. They chill out there, and I think that him being from the Bay, he really, really brought that. He's just super in a different pocket. Sonically, he's in a different pocket, and he has that swagger. And I felt like just to bring that East Coast, West Coast energy for Passage just really, really knocked it out the park. And of course, like it's funny because a lot of people always think that I'm from the Bay. They either come from up north or from the Bay. They never really say, "Oh, you Southern." And when people meet me in person, they're like, "Oh, I didn't get that. I didn't get that at first." So it just naturally was just the perfect, marriage for the record. Like he's just so cool, just super cool, laid back guy. He fly in his own way. Yeah.
Mm. Aaron's question is, what is it like to make it as a legend come out of Duval County, Florida?
Duval. I literally just came back from Jacksonville from this past weekend. But
Okay, can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Oh, you gotta unmute.
can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. What happened? But I say that coming out of Duval, I feel like I'm still very early in my journey, but I know a lot of people recognize me and know my music in Jacksonville. So I say shout out to them because that's home.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like I step foot in Florida, I step foot in Jacksonville, and I feel like I'm at home, like truly at home. But I'm still in my journey. I'm still on the incline, I'm on the rise, and that's really all there is to it. I think that I wouldn't even call myself legendary yet. I know that is there because for lifetimes I knew I'd come and do this, but I say I'm still rising. I'm still putting in the work. I'm still, staying focused and also perfecting that level of discipline that comes with it, being young and also being an artist, like just all those things that are required to just really get to the potential that I know, that legendary potential. It requires a lot of discipline, a lot of focus, a lot of selflessness and sacrifice, really.
Amira's question is, who was your favorite music artist growing up?
I say, especially growing up singing and dancing, I always paid attention to all the performers, all the biggest performers. So, of course, I've got the classics, Prince, Michael Jackson. I love TLC. I love Aaliyah. I have a lot of their essence, Missy Elliott. And then, of course,
A
Beyonce,
lot of your
Sierra.
music and your vibe and your sound is so similar to T-Bob's Left Eye Chili and Aaliyah. So
I get that a lot.
That's spot on.
Oh, thank you, because they're amazing, beautiful women, talented women. But and then of course moving into Beyonce, Sierra, Chris is in there. Like I study a lot of performers, James Brown. Like even if you take it all the way back, I study a lot of performers. Like that's who I like to watch a lot of documentaries. Like there's not really anyone who's off limits. I can't say I have a favorite.
And then you did a Instagram Smokey Robinson cover a couple of years back.
I did, and that's how I got discovered. Yeah, that's how I got discovered. Tricky Stewart,
a legend.
Is my manager, a legend in the game, mentor forever. He introduced me to Sylvia and Epic. But yeah, he found me through that cover I did, the Smokey Robinson Cruise. Maybe it was several years ago, but I put that up there. I think while I was in college.
Mm-hmm. Amira's two-part question. Do you have a favorite teacher growing up that helped motivate you, whether it be at elementary school? I know you started, I think you started singing
Yes.
at the age of 3, so that goes pretty far back. So did you have like a teacher or a mentor as a kid, like, or someone
Of
from an after
course,
school
I
or a
have.
professor from an after school program that pushed you that extra mile?
Interesting enough, most of the most influential people, I think, outside of family are all teachers and professors.
Mm.
You know, I didn't do sports. I didn't have dance classes outside. They were all like educators. And then I come from a family of educators. So that to me is really, really something that I value. I'd say there's a few professors. I've had a professor who really helped me on my queer journey, like in my adulthood in college, who taught trans feminism. And just, it was a women and gender studies course. And then I've also had a lot of history teachers, like through high school, middle school, science professors that really kind of paved the way, because then I ended up, of course, for some people who don't know, that also really locked me in, like as far as my love for biology and chemistry when I end up going to college. So I had a lot of them who paved the way. And then I also have a mentor in my college before I went to UNCG, when I got my associate's degree. Her name is Barb, but she did all of my like my recommendation letters for every single scholarship, every single application that I had to do. So, I mean, shout out to all the educators, shout out to you, because you guys make things like this happen and you really touch the lot. Like, you have no idea, like one person can really shapeshift the entire, like for me, that's how it was. Like, it wasn't like, oh, they just had an influence. No, they completely shapeshift the way that I view the world, the way that I listen, the way that I approach things, the kind of drive, the kind of discipline that I have, the kind of hunger for everything that I do in life. You know, outside of my family, in addition to them, but outside of them, they were the ones who did everything. Everything. I'll never, ever, ever, ever let that go.
What? Oh, and
That's amazing.
Thank you, by the way. But you.
Yes,
you know,
sir. Come on now.
But you
gotta pat
go ahead.
Yourself on the back.
But you only being in Chicago just once, you just don't know the huge impact that you had on my students, and as well as Chicago youth at large as well. So without you even knowing, you're essentially a teacher. Essentially, definitely hats off to your hard work and your 24/7.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that.
Well, Kalia's question is, I know we got about 5 minutes left. Kalia's question is, how should a new artist go about selecting a positive manager and management team that's only invested in their best interest? Obviously, you have a phenomenal, Miss Stewart, and your entire team is star first class.
Yeah, Judy, Mark,
but other artists, obviously, they could be even veterans game or just coming up in the game. They don't have that 5-star first class quality when it comes to their team, business side, and all aspects. So what advice can you give an aspiring artist that's just starting out?
I say first and foremost, I'm a very spiritual person. I like to add that in here. And this is why it's important, is because I feel like I have the gift of discernment. Just the intuitive clarity and like being locked in with myself as far as decisions that I make. And I feel like when I was in college and I was young and I was doing all types of things and trying to figure it out, and also being consistent, I knew that I would need a team. I knew that that team would have to find me though. Like I knew they would have to find me, and that whenever I meet them, that the feeling would just have to feel right. Intuitively, it has to feel like it's a match, you know. And then you also have to pay attention. But I think that if you're looking, you know, and you're like super new, I feel like showcases, getting your name out there first. You know, if you're on the path to be an amazing artist, and that's what you want to do. I feel like you first got to get yourself out there. You got to let people know, like, why should they invest in you? You know, why should they invest in you? What is it about you that makes people go, yes? You know, like when it comes to what touches them, you know, are they passionate about you? Are you passionate about them? Do you have the same level of drive? You know, do y'all share a lot of that? You know, because you're not going to always, not everything is going to match up exact, but you know, in general, it's a relationship. You're developing a whole new relationship, so you want it to be healthy. You want it to be essentially a perfect fit. So for me and my team, of course, Tricky and I spent a lot of time together. And then, you know, when he felt like, okay, like I really want to invest in you. I'm really passionate about everything that you are, the XYZ. I felt the same way too. And then, of course, Mark and Judy and the entire RZ3 family really just welcomed me with open arms. And it's been a consistent, it's a consistent energy across the board from beginning to end. No one has changed or wavered or anything. And they're always dropping gems. They're always educating you on things that you may not know that you need to know, as far as business, as far as health, wealth, longevity, as we know it. Like my team is constantly having conversation, you know, like they wake up in the middle of the night, like I gotta talk to MK. I gotta tell MK. I gotta be locked in. You want people to see you past where you see yourself, almost that kind of, the where you, when you see like, okay, what is the most, like your most ultimate goals, and what does that look like? For me, you know, getting Grammys and being a philanthropist and investing in education in my own way. When people see that, they got to see past that. They got to see all the opportunities for the journey, not just one narrow tunnel to the end. You know what I mean? Like it's got to be like, I see the world for you, with you, together. So it, you know, it takes time, but you have to really, like I said, it goes back every time, trusting the journey. And sometimes the most amazing people, you don't go out of your way to meet them. You find them. You know what I mean? It could be like in a bookstore. It could be somewhere, but you find each other, and it's just like a match made in heaven. You know, and if you'll know because you'll see the red flags and listen to them. Like if you have you know, thank God I don't have that. But like when you see red flags, pay attention. Don't just think that, you know, people, I feel like people like to believe in the potential, in false claims and false optics. Like, no, you will know when to make a decision. You got to listen to your gut. You have to know, you know, what you're up against. You got to know that certain things come with consequences, good and bad. So just, you know, making sure that you have not always yes men around you, and not always people who want to see you fail, you know, on the back end. You want people that's really going to fight for you and believe in you.
Where can, because I'm looking at the Zoom shot clock, so we only got 2 minutes left, unfortunately, very unfortunately. But the students will see you again soon this summer in Chicago.
Yes, we will.
Once again,
yes,
that homework assignment. So tell Miss Stewart and the rest of the crew over there. But where can everybody find you and locate you on
Definitely. So all of my social handles, usernames are it's MK-XYZ, ITS MK-XYZ. So definitely everybody make sure to go follow me, send me a DM. You never know. Like I'd see it, just tag me, especially if you're one of his students, amazing students, definitely send me a DM. I'll show love. I will. And then of course, make sure to go stream my new EP that's out, Sweet Spot. And tell me how you feel about it. You know, let's come on. It's time to lock in.
Absolutely. No, Kalia, I'll probably have her DM you but she wanted to know what was the inspiration behind your sure shot challenge. But I know we only have 30 seconds, but that was one of the questions.
I definitely will. No, Kalia, let's put it this way. People, when they think you hot, they want to shoot their shot. They want to get your attention. They want to take you out. They want to do all these things in the text, in the DMs, but they don't want to say it to your face. So I was casually on my IG live, and I was like, since everybody got something to say, why don't y'all just tell me to my face? And then I started randomly clicking shoot your shot profiles to join in, and just, hey, shoot your shot, and you can get a goal or you can miss. Like it's all in the air. It's all in the skill. But I actually have one tonight too, so that's funny if you want to watch. It's